Fairfax Public Access, I'm your host, Mitchell Parker. For members who are interested in creating their own show or viewers who are thinking about getting involved, join us tonight as we sit down and talk to Peggy Crucell and Eric Nelson about their learning experience. After that, we'll take a closer look at what it takes to be an involved producer. So, I hear you both you just took a class with us, field production class?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us about your experience with that? And let's start with you, Peggy.
I absolutely loved it. We had a really excellent teacher. Her name was Monique, and she did some really unique things, and she brought her real world experience from WTOP to share with us, and shared some of the things regarding lighting and sound, which are a big challenge out in the field, you know, compared to a studio where you don't have the same type of challenges like car honking and, you know, the sunlight and things like that. So she was really good with that.
How'd you like it, Eric?
I enjoyed it. It was very interesting. The training was high level. The equipment was very interesting and sophisticated compared to anything else I'd ever used.
Right,
so
yeah.
It was impressive.
What were some of the big takeaways that you got going back? What were the things you were excited about learning?
Just the technical aspect, just to acquire the basic skills to produce in the field.
Yeah.
You know, it was good.
That's awesome.
And from my perspective, from a producer's perspective, I took the class because I wanted to understand the capabilities and the challenges of the equipment so that I could better manage the process of producing a show. And then also I wanted to learn the equipment myself so that I could do the shots myself in certain circumstances when it was a one camera, one shot direction type thing.
Right.
So, yeah.
So you think you're mainly going to still be staying in the producing role? You weren't enticed by the awesome experience?
Yes. Well, no, I will probably use it occasionally. Like if it's just a one camera shot, I wouldn't bring out my crew here and others, you know, I wouldn't do that. I'd probably just set up the camera, set the shot, and, you know, go, you know, in the field. So that's one thing that I would do myself. So.
And Eric, have you ever done anything like this before? Or?
Nothing like this. I mean, I've used video cameras and cameras on drones and you know, cameras on phones, but nothing like this, no.
Yeah. What was the most challenging part of that learning experience?
When you're not using this equipment every day, you're going a week and not using it and then come back and using it a week later, is retaining the knowledge can be difficult. You know, there's a lot to remember, and it comes back. It's not truly intuitive, so you need the training.
That's true. And the experience of just doing it.
Exactly.
Have you gotten a chance to get out there and try any of the skills you've learned yet? Or
we made a pilot video at home. Or in the field. It was.
You used a lot of the knowledge that you learned?
A lot of it, yes.
That's awesome. Who would you recommend this class to, if you had to reach out to anybody?
I think that's interested in anything to do with film or production. I mean, this is a wonderful resource that not too many people have. The level of training, again, the sophistication of the equipment, and just the opportunities here are pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do either of you plan on taking any other classes, or? Peggy, let's start with you.
Well, I've taken 4 classes, and I had planned on taking the 4 classes because I always knew I wanted to produce a show, but I didn't know the first thing about it, so I said, okay, I'm going to have to get some training and understanding of this whole thing, and I took the orientation, I took the studio equipment, and then the field equipment, and then the Adobe Premiere. So for editing.
That's a lot of classes.
Yeah, but you know, you really need to understand all of it. I'll be doing a lot of the editing myself. We'll also be looking for volunteer support in the editing as well. But I think you really need to understand it to be able to produce a show. That's my opinion.
What about you, Eric? Have you taken any other classes?
I've taken a couple classes, and I'll take more classes as I need to be updated.
Right.
You know, when they buy new equipment, there's equipment changes, I'll certainly come in for the training when it moves forward.
What classes have you taken so far?
I took the field training class, and then I took what was the class we took together?
Orientation.
The orientation.
Okay.
Yeah, those were the two.
Yeah, that was nice.
And then we had a follow-up equipment class because they brought in some new equipment, some new sound equipment, and some new lighting equipment. So, and that's something they offer free. So once you've taken the class, as long as you're certified and you have paid your dues and all those kinds of things, then you can get all these upgrade classes as well. So we came in for that as well.
Was that for, you took the field equipment class and then they added equipment for the
and
field
they added equipment, and instead of having to pay or anything like that.
Right, yeah.
So it's nice. Yeah.
That is really exciting.
Yeah.
Have you enjoyed your experience here, just overall, beyond the classes?
I really have. This
Yeah.
is like, I absolutely have loved it. I've really enjoyed the whole experience. The people are wonderful. I think the depth of talent and knowledge here is just amazing. And it's just really been a great experience overall. The instructors are great, and I encourage everybody to do it. It's great.
Have you been enjoying your stay?
Very much. It's interesting, and like Peggy said, the level of talent here is pretty impressive, and there aren't many opportunities like this around. Not many communities have a facility like this to draw from.
What brought you guys here in the first place?
Oh, Peggy is producing her own show, and she needed somebody to do field camera work, so I was drafted. And as we transitioned from working full time to retirement, it's nice to do different things together, and especially new, interesting things keep you sharp.
Yeah, that makes sense. How did you hear about us in the first place, though?
Well, I had been interviewed for one of the shows. It's called Inside Scoop, as part of my volunteer work at a nonprofit. And so while I was there, you're a lot of waiting around when you're waiting to be interviewed and so forth. And the crew was just so enthusiastic and so excited about everything, and they were telling me all about it. I'd never even seen or heard of this place, and they told me all about it, and I said, you know what, I got home that night and I said, Eric, you're not going to believe this, I'm so excited. And it was infectious, and just really, it's been a lot of fun.
Is that when
really
you started turning
Yes, that's
over
when
ideas?
the wheels started turning, Drafted one of my crew members.
Have you interacted with any other volunteers, or how's that been going?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
A lot of different interactions, and they've all been great.
Yeah?
Great people here. Yeah.
That's awesome. Are you registered on, I know we have there's a volunteer list to find volunteers, so you're registered as a producer for your show?
Yes, I'm registered. Well, I just got the show approved, and now I'm in my pre-production work, so.
How's that going?
It's going great. I'm really excited about it.
Why don't you take us through some of the things you do for pre-production when you're getting ready for...
Well, the biggest thing I'm doing right now is planning, all the different elements and what I'm going to be doing for the show, and then trying to get all the different pieces together. It's it's not simple. That'll probably take me, I figure I've got at least another 2 or 3 months of planning and so forth. So, but I'm just I'd say I'm 25 to 30% through at this point.
That's really exciting.
Yeah.
And because you took the field class, I assume that the production you are going to be doing is mostly going to be outside?
Correct. Yeah. We'll be doing interviews outside. And I think one of the things, that the field equipment does is when you're interviewing people for your show, you have instant credibility with this big old camera,
Right,
and the light package and the
technology.
mics and all this. So it really does, versus, filming them with an iPhone or,
Right.
something like, or some home camera or whatever the case may be. So I've gotten some people, and even just saying that you're going to be, filming for, Fairfax Public Access Channel 10, also provides some real creds as well. So, it's a really, it's a great thing, and I'm able to, get some really exciting people that will be interviewing for the show. And so I'm starting to work on that right now. So getting some of these great people. I'm crossing my fingers. I don't want to say anything, but I think I've got what I think is a really good, I'm going to call her a titan of the beauty business.
Okay.
And so she'll be able to share some tips with us and things like that.
So how specifically are you using the field equipment? Are you just using the cameras? Are you doing tripods? Are you doing whole lighting
using
setup
the
as
whole.
well?
It
Just doing
depends.
the whole
It
thing?
depends on
Okay.
everything. What we'll be doing the whole 9 yards, and it's from A to Z. So we'll be using all of the equipment. I'm really excited about the new sound equipment they have too that we just got trained on.
Okay.
So yeah, that's really good as well.
That is always exciting.
And the lighting just got improved by light years as well. So.
Do you plan on volunteering as well, or are you just?
Yeah, I've already volunteered, and I encourage everybody to do that as well, because you can really learn a lot.
Right.
I mean, both positively, what I want to do just like that, and then I'm going to make sure I never do that.
Right.
Type thing. Yeah.
How about you, Eric? Have you been volunteering as well?
I did some volunteering, and you learn from the volunteering experience. And running this equipment, like I said, is all about repetition.
Right.
The more you use it, the more comfortable you are, and repetition and preparation. Have everything set before you
Practice.
lead the shoot.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, what kind of advice would you give to someone who's thinking about enrolling in a class but not sure?
I would tell them to do it. It's a fun experience if you go in and you say, "This isn't classwork. This is learning something.
Right.
It's a fun experience." I mean, it's interesting equipment, so there's no downside for giving it a try.
Is there anything that they should do to be prepared for the class? Is there anything you wish you had brought with you, or?
No, I think just come in with an open mind, and if you're interested and you're going to pursue it, you just have to practice.
Right.
The one thing I would tell everybody and is when you're taking the class, because of the thing Eric brought up earlier, is if you're not using it all the time, if you don't use it, you lose it. It's like any language, and this is a language. If you're learning about a new piece of equipment or whatever the case may be, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. And one of the things we did was we took notes, and it's in your own words. They provide, information, no question about that. But then putting it in your own words, okay, this is this is this, and then taking pictures of the equipment and saying, okay, click this, and then making a document that includes those pictures and the descriptions. And then it's like, boy, I can pick that up and remember, it clicks into your head.
That makes a lot of
Okay,
sense.
yeah, that's
good,
white
yeah.
balance. Okay, I now remember it's this picture, and it really works out well. It really helped us a lot.
Were there a couple of days there after taking the class where you just wanted to experiment and keep practicing?
Oh,
or?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they had to kick us out.
And it's nice to have two people, because if one person is a little fuzzy on how to do something, the other one might remember how, and there's strength in numbers.
Yeah, and it's a fun thing to do as a couple. I'm going to say that, yeah.
It's a good bonding experience. Yeah. Have either of you guys done anything related to this outside of Fairfax Public Access before?
Well, as a beginning to all of this, I started this website, which is called the livinretirement.com, and that's what I'll be doing as our show coming up, soon. So
that's exciting, yeah. And we're gonna get to that actually in the next segment.
So I started doing, but that was mainly with iPhone and things like that, iMovie. So very basic.
What are you, Eric? Any experience?
No experience.
That's good.
Other than home videos and cameras.
Yeah. Well, it's always good to learn new things.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks so much for talking to us for this next session. For now, we're going to go to a short message, but don't go too far, because we'll be talking to Peggy about her experience as a producer as soon as we return.
So how long are you visiting?
Not as long as I would like. 2 weeks just.
Mom, Did you print a picture from Facebook and frame it?
What? I like it.
Aren't you supposed to be able to do that from Facebook?
No, I think you're only supposed to do that from Insta.
Please don't call it that. It's Instagram, and you're not supposed to print pictures from either of them.
So now, which one has all those funny yellow faces?
I quite like those. I think they're rather pretty.
You guys should really take a social media course.
What for?
Well, don't you still have your show on FPA? Well, how are you promoting it?
It's simple, Caroline. I actually go out and talk to people. That's what people our age do.
I didn't know you guys had your own TV show. Can I watch it in England?
See, Mom, if you were taking advantage of social media, more of your friends would know about your show and you would have more viewers.
Well, I guess it wouldn't hurt to take a class, but how can we find one?
Well, FPA has a class called Social Media Workshop. They'll help you figure out which social media platform you should use based on your target audience. And they'll talk about why you should upload your show to YouTube. Then Sherry could watch it in England. Your show could be global.
Oh, I would definitely watch it if I could.
Well, that settles it. I say we do this. Watch out, world.
To find out more information about these and other classes, visit fcac.org or call 571-749-1102. And remember to always watch, listen, and learn.
Welcome back to Friday Night Live. Next to me is Peggy Crucell, a proactive producer who has agreed to share some of the exciting things she has been doing. So, Peggy, what have you been doing?
Well, that's a great question. I have been working on, I'm in pre-production of my new show called livinretirement.com.
What's that show about?
It's a retirement lifestyle show. It's about how we can live our best retirement. And each episode will be different, fun, action-packed, and it'll have topics from, or it'll feature topics from my livinretirement.com website. And the focus of those topics will be for our age group. Not your age group, not the millennials, not the Gen X, but our age group. So it'll be topics like, how we can keep looking good,
right.
How we should be doing fitness, how we should be doing nutrition, fun stuff for us to do. And things like movie reviews and TV show reviews and so on and so forth. And then each episode will include one tip from our new lifestyle retirement concept that we developed. So so I'm really excited about it. I'm
Sounds
excited.
like you're really excited about
I
it.
really am. I'm excited to share it with people, and it's really been fun.
So you mentioned you had a website. So have you been doing stuff like this prior to?
Yeah, and I just, got started with the website, and I was using my iPhone and, using iMovie and things like that.
Right.
And this has just, brought it to a whole new level. So it's really great. Yeah.
How long have you been wanting to do this?
Well, I retired in 2015, and after working for an oil company as an executive for over 35 years.
Oh, wow.
So at that time I said, okay, what am I going to do? I started looking around for shows and information on retirement lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And, what I found was not much. I mean, what you find is a lot of financial advice. I mean, they all want to get a hold of your money.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
It's America.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of financial advice, a lot of financial shows, things like that, but very little on lifestyle. And what are you going to do? How are you going to have a successful retirement? What are some of the things? And so what I did was, I said, okay, well, I started out just working on it for myself, developing a concept using, my years of experience of processes and, all those things that you learn. And I started sharing some of it with my friends and my family. And, then one thing evolved to the next. And next thing you know, I started putting together a little website. And again, just for people I knew.
Right.
And then I had that infamous interview here at FPA, and I said, what is this? This is fantastic. And I thought I could really share it out to a much broader audience.
Yeah.
So that's really how it got started.
Well, that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, it's really been fun.
Have you done anything for it so far? I know you said you were working on the pre-production.
Yes, I am. Well, that's the hardest part,
it
of course.
Of course, planning.
And so I've got a skeleton structure for the first, pilot episode. And it'll involve several things, but, fun stuff like I've got a 2-ingredient, low-cal, high-nutrition ice cream recipe that I'm going to share with everybody, and I'll show everybody how to make it. I've got beginning pickleball. We go out to a South Run or to one of our rec centers and show people, okay, this is how you can get started with pickleball, which is really a fun sport, active, but not too active. Right. It's not like the tennis court is shorter with pickleball. So they're still running around, but not as much as with tennis. So it's a great, all kinds of stuff like that. So, be lots of fun.
That sounds like lots of fun. I've never heard of pickleball before, but.
Oh, it's a thing. It's a thing with my peeps. It's a thing.
So to walk me through some of the stuff you do for the pre-production. I know you're deep in that.
Okay.
So
Well,
what's your process
the biggest
like?
thing is I have an Excel spreadsheet.
Okay, that is very important.
I'm one of those girls, okay? And, I start off with, the time for each segment. I've got an opening segment that I've started that I'm going to have for each show, and it shows different things that we, doing and things like that. And I've got different clips from my iPhone videos, basically. And then I've got, so you do the timing, the beginning, the end of each one of your segments or little segments. And then I've got what I'm doing for the video, what I'm doing for the audio, what I'm doing for the graphics, where the location's going to be, what kind of things I can expect at that particular location. So I'm going to be doing an interview, I think, with one of the beauty titans. I told you about that earlier. And she has a penthouse at the Watergate. Oh, wow. And this gal is, she's big. And, she does hair for Donatella Versace's. Really a titan. Big girl, big shot. But she knows how to do, our group, our people. I don't even know what you call us. We don't have a name like yours, millennials or whatever. I guess you could call us baby boomers, but I'm just going to call us something else. But anyway, so, trying to set that up, how that'll look, etc. And then, how many people I need. I think it'll be a 1-camera shot and or 1-camera shoot. Right. And so all the details and the planning and making sure she knows what questions you're going to ask. And I mean, the level of planning is, to me, the most important part of the entire process. Because then it'll tick, tick, tick. What will the lighting be like? What what do I need to bring for mics? All of that. So that's what I've been doing.
Yeah. How did you end up getting the talent? I mean, that's quite the feat.
She is a friend of mine.
Okay, that helps. Good old nepotism.
So it works out really well. And then there'll be all kinds of other things that we'll be doing. And then some of them will be just myself and, different friends and people that I'll be inviting into the...
Do you already have a crew, or are you planning on...
Well, of course I've got the lead crew, which is my husband. Right. And so, he's going to be very helpful. And then I think I'll need potentially additional camera crews occasionally. I'll also need editing support. Okay. I have taken the editing class. I can do, rough elements at this point. Hopefully it'll get better with more practice and so forth, but yeah.
Well, if volunteers are looking to help out, how could they potentially reach you?
I am on the list.
On the list?
I'm on the list, the producer list.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the producer list?
Well, the producer list basically is a list of all the shows, and it lists the shows and what people need and things like that, with phone numbers, contacts, emails, etc.
Okay.
So,
yeah. And for those of you who don't know, the list can be accessed at Fairfax County Public Access at any time if you want to come by or call.
Yeah.
So are you planning on starting anytime soon, or is this in the works? Or?
Well, I feel like I've started because,
Right.
like I
'Cause the
said,
planning is the big
yeah, I
part
would
for it.
say of the amount of time that it's going to take, I'm probably going to be spending 75% on the pre-production,
Right, yeah, that's of
and then
course
maybe
right.
25% on the actual production.
Yeah.
If everything goes well, if I've got it planned right, it should be that.
Well, for producers who are looking to get involved, then what any tips for them to improve on their producing process?
Well, I am a new producer.
Yes,
So,
but still pretty involved.
And I've taken the class, and the biggest thing that I got from the class, the producer's class, was the pre-production and spending the time. And there'll always be, and just from my own experiences, there's always going to be glitches, and you just have to kind of go with it and not get flustered,
Right, not get
etc.
hung up
Yeah,
on the
exactly.
obstacles.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, okay, how do we overcome that? Let's move. And
Well, thank you. I think actually our time is up for right
Okay,
now,
great.
but thank you so much for coming in and talking to me about your show. It was
Absolutely.
wonderful.
Great. Thank you for having me.
And with that, our time is ended. I hope today's episode has gotten some exciting ideas in your head. If you want to get involved, either to showcase your own program or be part of the crew, or if you have any other questions, please call or email us. Again, I'm Mitchell Parker, and you've been watching Friday Night Live. See you next time.